I have travelled more than most people. From age 19 to 35, I travelled continually on planes, on ships, and overland. And when people ask me, which countries have you been to? It's easier for me to answer with which countries I haven't been to. It is a much shorter list. So take it from me, I am a big believer in carrying travel insurance and assistance services, especially when scuba diving. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. As always, so great to see all of your smiling faces. Today, I am discussing the reasons why I don't leave home without travel protection. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to be telling you how you can enter our giveaway for a chance to win a gear-packed swag bag courtesy of D.A.N. So stay tuned for that. This video is part of our sponsored series of content courtesy of Divers Alert Network. I want to say a great big thank you to everyone that watched our first video in this series on the benefits of D.A.N membership, and especially those who commented with the stories of how D.A.N has personally helped them. You guys are the reason I get up in the morning. There are very few brands in the scuba diving world who have such a unanimous positive following amongst respected dive professionals as Divers Alert Network. I have been a member and customer of D.A.N throughout my diving life, long before YouTube came anywhere near my career. I couldn't be happier than to partner with D.A.N because our goals are one and the same: to make you a better, safer diver. So if you want to learn more about D.A.N's mission or become a member if you're not already, all the links you could possibly need are in the description of this video below. I should say as well, any errors in this video are mine and mine alone, so don't be getting all mad at D.A.N if I mess something up, okay? Personally, I like to take ownership of my mistakes. Thank you, please. Let me qualify my level of expertise on the subject of travel and travel insurance. You guys know me as a diver, but I have lived many other lives. I was a merchant mariner for many years, which took me all around the world. I've also worked as a rafting guide on 3 different continents. I've worked in yacht delivery and charter operations in the South Pacific. I've climbed Kilimanjaro. I've trekked the length of Patagonia. I have sailed and flown hundreds of thousands of miles. These are hard miles. These are not your week in an all-inclusive resort type of travel. I don't do easy. Now, taking that, how many times do you think I've had travel issues with this lifestyle? How many times do you think I've had my luggage lost or stolen? How many flights have been cancelled? How many connections do you think I've missed? How many natural disasters in foreign countries do you think I've tangoed with? Countless. I am, therefore, a big fan of travel insurance because I have had so many issues and incidents I've lost count. And I've learned that I travel better, I travel with much less stress, knowing that I have thorough travel insurance in place. Now let's work through an example. I'm going on a liveaboard in Bikini this year, one of the most remote dive destinations on this planet. The trip itself is very expensive, as well as the journey to get there. Miami to San Francisco, to Honolulu, to Kwajalein, and then 30 hours by boat to Bikini Atoll. It's epic. So what happens if I arrive to Kwajalein and my luggage with my rebreather and my camera gear doesn't make it? The boat isn't going to wait for me. Disaster. What happens if I get ill on the way out and I can't dive? Trip ruined. What if, what if, what if? Do you think my buddy Pete Mesley knew his liveaboard in Mexico was going to run aground and sink and strand everybody on the Mexican coastline with complete loss of all belongings? You can't plan for that, but you can prepare for the recovery. As divers, we frequently travel to destinations only because of the diving there. Truk Lagoon is a great example. World-class wreck diving and very little else to do. So if you show up to Truk Lagoon ready to get that major bucket list tick, but your dive gear doesn't make it, you can't change plans and make something out of that destination. Sure, you could probably scrounge a set of rental gear, but that adds expense and detracts from your enjoyment of this once-in-a-lifetime experience. D.A.N offers 2 kinds of travel protection plans: per trip and annual plans. Both are administered by Generali Global Assistance and Insurance Services and underwritten by Generali US branch. D.A.N Trip Protection is just like it sounds. It covers one trip against certain unforeseen events that can happen along the way. It includes emergency assistance and transportation, medical and dental, and even accidental death and dismemberment for a travel accident. But as a diver, I really care about the trip cancellation, trip interruption, travel delay, and missed connection benefits, the actual getting to the diving. Travel delays seem to happen all the time nowadays, and we all know how reliable the airlines are not. And remember, check to make sure that the plan you select includes travel delay, because not every plan out there includes this benefit, and it's better to be safe than sorry. Plus, of course, baggage coverage, baggage delay, sporting equipment coverage benefits for the scuba diver, and so much more are all part of D.A.N's trip protection. You'll have to check with D.A.N's website to get all the details, since the plan benefits differ, and I'm not going to get into all that legal stuff here, thank you please. If you travel a lot, D.A.N's annual travel protection plan may be a better option for you. It can insure every trip you take during a year and anytime you travel 100 or more miles from your home. Again, you'll have to look at D.A.N's website for the coverage details and additional terms, but their plans have so many benefits, you'd be crazy to travel without it. So for 2024, I have dive trips to Indonesia, Bikini Atoll, and Truk Lagoon. In addition to this, Karina and I also take non-diving trips. Shocking, I know. We just got back from a week in France and have a few other weekend getaways planned here in the US throughout the year. With this much travel, it makes sense to me to purchase an annual travel protection plan to cover all of my trips in the calendar year. And yes, because dive trips tend to be quite pricey, I opt for the top level of coverage, which D.A.N calls their Voyager plan. There are two other less expensive plans to choose from as well, so you'll be able to find something in your budget if you don't want to go all out. But you make your own choices. One of the ways I make travel protection work for me is with rental car damage coverage. I generally find that the policies offered by car rental companies when you rent a car have hugely inflated insurance premiums and typically weak coverage. So my travel protection plan with D.A.N has $50,000 of rental car damage coverage on the schedule. So I always decline the coverage that offered by the car companies and stick with D.A.N, and that saves me some money. As well as the financial reimbursements in the event of certain losses or accidents whilst travelling, D.A.N's plans also offer 24/7 emergency assistance and concierge services with a hotline. I keep meaning to ask D.A.N why the concierge will book a restaurant for me or a golf tea time for me, but not a dive boat. As with any insurance, you're paying for something you hope you don't have to use. Now, my personal choice is to travel insured. I think it's also worth mentioning here that dive accident insurance and travel protection are two totally different things, and we'll be looking at dive accident insurance in an upcoming video. But if you're watching my channel because you want to be a better, safer diver, I hope I've either convinced you or reaffirmed that carrying travel protection is just the smart thing to do. To enter to win this safety gear packed swag bag courtesy of D.A.N, all you need to do is click the link in the description of this video below and follow the directions from there. One lucky winner will be chosen at random and contacted via email. May the odds be forever in your favour. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and thanks again to D.A.N for partnering with us and helping bring this content to you. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and we will see you in the next video. Dive safe, dive often.